important. And that, I mean, that's kind of why we come together and talk about things. Like before we came on, we were talking about the emotional parasite release, a tool that I learned from you a few years ago, and you learned it a while ago. And then we were talking about the prayer protection. Two things that I had no space in my learning with that until I met you. I had other things that I learned, but these two techniques are really powerful. So when I contacted you again, I'm like, let's talk about it again. Because we did that with our guest, Devin. He had a couple interesting experiences. Maybe we'll have him on again and be able to share some of those. But gosh darn it. When I when I sent you an email about the show and I said, well, let's do some EFT. And I sent you my little list and you said, well, these two tools I learned from the gold ones are so perfect that I don't want any of that what'd you call it? Vegetable salad?
Yeah. 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 I did.
You did. My sister knows that. And I could read the energy with your words. Like a lot of people can just read the energy and feeling. I'm like, well, you know what? He's not saying, no, that's a horrible idea, but there's some back end story with it that I have no idea what it is. So before we came on, you shared that with me. I get it. And I do think that these two techniques that we're sharing with everybody, to share with everybody they know, are super powerful, efficient, and really easy to access. As long as you just commit them to memory, pretty much. Would you
Well,
say?
yes, you do. You have to commit it to memory because you never know when you're going to feel something that is not yours and you need to get rid of, or else you feel someone's energy coming towards you. I remember I was at a yard sale in upstate New York, and I was going down looking at what everybody had on each side of the road, and I came across this one guy, and I forget what he was selling or promoting or what. And I talked for a minute. He said something, and I said, "Oh, I don't need that. Thank you." And he said something else. And when he said something else, I just felt this negative energy coming right at me. And I went, wow. And so immediately I said the prayer of protection, which when I said it, it immediately erased that feeling that I had. And I just walked on. But I found that very interesting that the prayer worked very quickly to dissolve any negative energy coming towards me. And I do use it before I do a meditation, my own meditations. And I do use it when I teach English here in China and one-on-one.
You've got students. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah.
And so my parents will bring their children in here. And sometimes there's just the parents and the child. And I clear my house, and I'll have maybe about 4 or 5 sessions a day. So I have a lot of parents and children coming in here. And at the end of the day, I'll clear my house with the prayer of protection. Because what happens is, Renata, is if you're enlightened and there's a trapped soul, it sees your aura. And it wants to be with you. It wants to be with you because it feels that you can help it transition to the next level of soul development. So I've learned this to just do this prayer and release it. I remember one night, many years ago, I did a meditation class. And at the end of the meditation class, I was laying in bed and I was just ready to go to sleep. And in my mind's eye, I saw this entity standing at the foot of my bed. And I thought, wow, this is crazy. It wasn't offensive or anything like that. But I just had like 15 people in my home, and they all left. I was in bed laying there, and I felt this entity at the foot of my bed. And I said the prayer of protection, not for my sake, but for the sake of the entity too. So they come here. They'll get your attention so you help them. And the prayer of protection is not only for you, but it's to assist all trapped souls to move to the next level of soul development. you become the gateway for that soul. And so
Yeah.
periodically, my teachers will wake me up like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll say, okay, why? And do I have to check my mail or something like that? And then I'll say, oh, do I have to say the prayer? And they'll say yes. And it's just a thought and another thought. And I'll come out here and I'll stand in front of my altar and I'll do the prayer protection. And I can feel the energy flowing through me for these souls to go to the next level of soul development. So, very
So that
helpful prayer for yourself and for the trapped soul.
so shall I go ahead and recite that prayer?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. And this is like for everybody that's listening. Okay, exactly. We surround ourselves in a circle of light and the armor of love, in which nothing remains and nothing penetrates like divine love. We call upon the golden ones and loved ones to remove all energies and entities from my person, be they innocent, deterrent, negligent, or otherwise, and return them back to the light. The Mother, Father, God frees all these energies and entities, and I am presence, accepts no reversal, personally or collectively, for the treatment of these souls. In the name of universal God consciousness, and so it is.
Renata, let me just make a point about that. At the end of that prayer, we say, I am accepts no reversal um, to individually or collectively
Collectively.
for the treatment of these energies and entities. And why we say that, because of the universal law of cause and effect. What you do
Yep.
to others will be done unto you. So even when someone believes they're healing someone, and this goes back in the 1900s, there was some Polish healer.
Yeah, share the story because you told me that, and it's really fascinating. I love that.
And what she would do is she would heal people of their conditions, and she died of cancer because she did not use the prayer to indicate to the universal law of cause and effect. See, even a disease is created by God. It's energy of God, and so it has its purpose. So what you do to this energy will be done unto you. So she was healing this healing energy, and she believed she was doing it for God, or she believed she was the healer, or whatever she thought. But she didn't say, and I accept no reversal individually or collectively for the treatment of these energies and entities, and she died of cancer. So the only energy that can heal is God. And all we are channels for his energies. So we can't say, oh, I heal this person. No, that's not true. No one heals but God heals. And we're just channel for his healings. But again, too, we don't accept any personally accept any reversal of this energy. And we say it collectively because if you do it for a group, if you're doing a group healing and you're the person in charge and you got 10 people and you're all doing this healing and you're the focus of it, you say, I don't accept it individually or collectively for the whole group. We don't accept this. We're doing it out of love, and we're not personally doing it. So very important that people who believe they are channels for healing say that prayer, that they don't accept the reversal of the energy individually or collectively. Because the law of cause and effect doesn't stop and say, oh, why are you doing this? You do this, I'll do this to you. No, it's like gravity always falls. The universal law of cause and effect always works, and it's to condition us. So I'm
Thank you
done.
for that explanation.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm,
Thank you for the explanation. And if people want to really explore this more, talk a little bit about your membership program so we don't like run out of time. Because I'm actually one of in your membership program,
you are.
like yearly. I am.
You are. Well, the membership program, the Golden Ones channel a lot of information to me on health, religious things, in the science community. And I can't get them through YouTube because YouTube will edit it and say, no, this doesn't conform to our standards.
Their medical AI that they've got going on now. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got a few,
medical
believe me.
community, the religious community, social community. So my teachers recommend I do a membership program where I can put the full uh, video on the website without being edited. Have to worry about it being edited by anybody else and so forth. In fact, and so what I've done is we put out a video. It's an audio. It is a video. We put it out on the full moon and the new moon each month. And so, for 2024, there's 25 moons, full moons and new moons. So there's 25 recordings for the month of 2024. And so, with the membership, it's we charge which you get the video plus you get access to an MP3. Sid will send you an MP3 or let you know that the video is available and you can watch it. And then you have access of over, oh my God, probably close to 200 MP3s that you can download on any subject. And these are all teachings by the Golden Ones, and you can download them and listen to them in your leisure. So I'm working on another one, a program. This one's a Tantra program for men. Now, nice. Well, this is something I got in an ayahuasca dream back in 2000, where I was at the time I was studying Tantra, and I was studying the benefits of Tantra. And Tantra is good where it's a spiritual teaching, the responsibilities for men and the responsibilities for women, goddesses in a spiritual life. And so I was working on channeling the semen from the man, because usually a man, when during a spiritual encounter with his partner, he releases his semen. Now, my teacher says you never release your semen unless you're attempting to create an offspring. So you should learn to channel your semen up the spine. And when you channel the semen up the spine, it nourishes your internal organs, all right? And then you always are, the male is always firm and available to serve his female goddess, because the female goddess needs as many orgasms as possible. So if a male depletes himself immediately or soon, then he's not satisfying his female partner. So, when I was in an ayahuasca drinking, I was studying this in 2000 before I went to Peru to take the ayahuasca. And so, in my first drinking, what happens is you drink. It's a 6-hour ceremony. The first 3 hours is a lot of chanting and healing and so forth, and visual traveling. Clearing your I don't know what they clear, your body, your mind, and so forth. And then the last half of the ceremony, 3 hours, you get a vision. The goddess ayahuasca rewards you with a vision. Now these visions, Renata, these visions are like watching TV. All right, it's like I'm serious. Your mind opens up and you get like you're watching television. And so the vision opened up, and I see a naked man with a firm erection, and standing right next to him is a female. They're both naked, and their crown chakra, which is at the top of their head, is pulsating. So as long as the male maintains a firm erection, the female is experiencing an orgasm. And what it does is it activates their crown chakra. Now, your crown chakra I don't know if you know anything about chakras.
I
Chakras are
do.
chakras are energy centers in the body, and you have seven of them, seven major ones. And your crown chakra is like a connection to the God within you. So having a sexual spiritual experience, the female needs to have as many orgasms as possible, and it's the male's responsibility to make sure to serve her. That's the purpose. So there's a so I have developed this technique, the training of how a male can do this, and so I'm going to put it up on the website as a
Okay.
program, right? And it'll be in the where someone can download it. They don't have to pay for it if they want to make a contribution or not. But this, to me, this is it's almost like the prayer to remove emotional parasite. Everyone should know how to remove fears from your subconscious mind, and
Yeah.
every man should know how to channel his semen up his spine to nourish his internal organs for longevity, for his own personal well being, and to activate his crown chakra, but also to serve his female partner. So,
Well, now, aren't you talking about Kundalini rising and how that feeds
no,
the optic
no,
optic thalamus? Oh, okay. Well, that's a
different from
physiological.
different from the Kundalini energy rising from the root chakra. Now, that would be an interesting discussion on one session because I raised the Kundalini without knowing I was raising the Kundalini, and
Right.
and
We had that discussion.
yeah,
Yes.
and it's like not everyone has to raise the Kundalini, but a lot of people in India, they what they want to do is they want to raise the Kundalini because they know there's a powerful energy at the base of the root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. But when I raised the Kundalini, I didn't even know what a chakra was. How I raised the Kundalini is because when I went into meditation, I had a sincere desire to serve God. And what the Kundalini energy does is supports the soul that wants to sincerely serve God. So the Kundalini rises, activates all your chakra because it knows that you're going to use your chakra energies to serve creation. So, like I said, when it happened to me, I didn't know what the heck I did, and then I later found out what I did. I mean, it when I raised it, it created an out of body experience, and I was only meditating for maybe about 2 months when it happened. So it's like I didn't even know what a chakra was. I had to study chakras and the energies and so forth. So a lot of times, my teacher, I have to experience something. My teachers will get me to experience something, and then I find out what I did or what happened and how to do it. That's like the prayer of protection. And it's like the prayer to remove emotional parasites. I have to experience it and then I know it's a truth. And when it's a truth, I can put it out as the teachings by the golden ones. So,
And I find that I'm more of a bridge. So I've studied many techniques first, mostly for my own personal evolution and wellness. And then, um, and then after I've studied it and kind of have a sense of what it's about, I'm able to transmit that knowledge when I just work with people, either by sharing something or go here and check this out. This is a great website, or connect to Tim. He's really cool. So there's my personal evolution and work, and then that ability to like bridge things and see how they really do connect for people. So that's been my journey for the last 25, 30 years, with healing arts and knowing what I don't know. Yeah. So
well, it's not what you don't know. Sometimes you don't need to know.
yeah, no, exactly. So that's why I didn't want to say like 30 years of everything I know. I mean, I've just moved along. But there's so many more things. But as long as I always tell people, as long as you feel comfortable and you can, you know, find that heart space for yourself, you're good. Whatever comes to you and through you, it's your job to transmute that. to shift that. You don't have to accept any story at all. So that's why I love those two tools, emotional parasite release and prayer protection,
Well, I have
you know?
my teachers want to share something else with you now. Um,
Okay.
it's I was talking to one of my students the other day, and I mentioned something, and they said we're all going to die. I says, no. What do you mean we're all going to die? She says, well, everyone dies. I says, you only die if you believe you're going to die. Dying, the purpose of death is when a soul comes to earth and they don't take responsibility. All right, let me start all over again. We are created in the image and likeness of God. So
Yes.
all of us, we have these God characteristics within us, but they're in their immature element. So our mission is to mature these things, like, for example, impatience, develop it, discipline it, turn it into patience, and so forth. So what happens is when a soul comes here and they're ignorant that these raw emotions have control of the body, and it's the responsibility of the soul to control these emotions. And when they do, they convert these emotions into God feelings. That's our
Yeah, yeah.
purpose. So
Yeah, yeah.
once you get to that point where in all your thoughts, words, and deeds are in love and acceptance and compassion for others, there's no need to experience death. People die because they've created too much karma and they can't go on. They need to go back to the drawing board, um, come back under new parents, under new situations, experience a different
Oh,
gender, or so forth. But when you get to the point where all your thoughts, words, and deeds are loving, there's no reason to experience death. In fact, we are in the fifth dimension reality that occurred on 21 December 2012 when our solar system completed its orbit around the galactic center of the Milky Way galaxy. We moved into a fifth dimension reality where the whole planet, our solar system, is vibrating in the fifth dimension reality, which is love and compassion. Now, everyone in the planet has to they're vibrating at this frequency. So either you change who you are by being more loving or compassion, or else you're going to have to die and come back again. So what we're seeing on the planet now is a lot of corruption being exposed all over the place. We're seeing it in Hollywood. We're seeing it in
everywhere, all the systems, all the
businesses.
systems. Yeah.
We're seeing in governments. We're seeing in the banking system. So all this corruption is being exposed. So we just sit and watch and know that everybody is vibrating at a higher frequency now of love and compassion, and the souls are no longer accepting to be abused or being selfish or having someone treat them abusively or being selfish or anything like that. We're not accepting it anymore. We're standing up for who we are, which are God beings. I usually just flow with
And
the wind.
Kim, and another reason, I'm just doing a plug, another reason to know these two tools that we're talking about is because old wounds and old ways of being are being triggered too from you know, from your lineage, so to speak. So things will come up and you thought, oh, I thought I dealt with that, or I thought I was good, or I didn't know there was something there. Yeah, so that this is a great tool. Once you're aware of where you're at, you can, swiftly move into you can shift it. That's the power of this tool, being able, like a gear, shifting gears.
Always
That's pretty
shifting
cool.
gear and just acknowledging people. See, in this spiritual training school, many souls are on different level of soul development. So you just have to accept them where they are. And if you can help them, you help them. If you can't, you can't. I mean, you just,
And it's not personal. And it's
yeah,
not personal.
not personal.
Not even though it kind of, the form of it feels pretty personal, like a direct stab in the back. It's still not personal.
No, not personal. Not personal. So
No, I
it's
know.
I
But
I,
that's
I
yeah.
enjoy seeing. Now, I just saw something the other day. Now, I've known this for a while, and maybe I shouldn't say it.
Well, why you already thought it? That's the
You know
thing.
what? Okay,
Come out with it.
I will.
Come out with it.
See, Oprah Winfrey. You see,
Oh yeah,
in Hollywood, you cannot become famous in Hollywood unless you have sold your soul to the devil. Okay,
I've heard that one. The Satanistic cults and all of that going on in Hollywood. Absolutely.
you sell your soul to the devil, and then you have to do these rituals where you get these children, you scare them, they develop this enzyme in their blood, and then you drink their blood, and then you live longer.
Antichrome. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I've seen where Oprah Winfrey was doing this charitably work in South Africa, where she would take these girls and create an orphanage for them, and she would make them beautiful and show them how to model and show them how to so forth, look pretty, how to act like a lady. And now the South African government has indicted her for sexual trafficking of African girls.
Wow, that's deep. That has not been in the news anywhere around here.
Well, someone just passed that to me on TikTok. And
Oh, okay, okay.
so now I hope it's true. only because only because I don't want to be passing on something false about
Oh,
Oprah
like
Winfrey.
it's not that it's not personal. You're just saying I don't want to be saying,
Oprah, this is not personal. But
but in the grapevine, we've heard
well, yeah.
so much of that. Again, the reason why it's so important to pay attention to what you're creating in your own bubble, and it's not like you're not aware of what's going on outside of you. Quite the contrary. Quite the contrary. But that awareness of what's going outside is an awareness of you need to make sure what's going inside is going out and flowing like your love, you know?
Well, the thing is you know that in Hollywood now, the immigration policy in the United States, they've got like 50,000 children that have come in. They don't know where they are without their parents. These kids have come across the border, the southern border. They're in the United States. They have no idea where they are, and they can't locate them. Now, where are they? Who? Why? Why is it allowed that these children can come across without their parents? Uh, it's just amazing, and to admit that we don't know where there are these 50,000 children. What are they using the children for? It's just unbelievable. But again, let me just say, in this Earth Spiritual Training School, nothing can happen to you unless you are the first cause of it. So if a child is being abused, all right, that child must have caused something in a previous life to now be abused in this life. All right, this has been going on for a long time. So it's like, yeah, it's a shame this is happening, but nothing can happen to you unless you are the first cause of the effect, cause and effect. And that is how a soul is conditioned in this earth spiritual training school by cause and effect. Whatever you do to another will be done unto you. And it could be that it may take 50 lifetimes, 50 incarnations before you pay your due, but you will pay your dues. And so if anything happens to you, you just have to say, you, you know, this is another subject, though, Renata, is that,
It really is. It totally is. It's very fascinating.
well, let me tell you what happened is when you abuse someone.
Okay.
Oh my goodness gracious, this is not a short story. Oh, you have a light body. When you're born, you're created in the image and likeness of God, okay?
I like it.
And
Yes.
you have a light body. Now,
Yes.
when you come into a physical body, your light body comes with you. And what you learn in your physical body goes back into your light body at the end of your carnation. So each time you incarnate, your light body is getting that those immature characteristics that you were created in the image of God of are now maturing. So
Yeah.
eventually when you get to the end where you no longer need to experience the birth, death, rebirth cycle, your light body is pure. Now, the last person that had a pure light body was Jesus. See? And what Jesus did, he ascended. Now, Jesus is not the only Son of God. I mean, even though the Catholics come out and say Jesus is God, no, he's not. All right. Jesus himself even said, the things I do, you will do, but even greater. He was just the example of what we can do. So our mission is to be conscious of who we are in every moment. So each time we die and come back in and we learn and we mature these immature emotional feelings we have, and they're to the point of maturing, then we can take our light body to the next level of soul development. But what happens is when you abuse somebody, you create a negative energy at the cellular level of your body. Okay?
Okay.
Now
All right.
that stays in your body from carnation to carnation to carnation to carnation until you pay your karma debt or until you go to forgiveness. Now, when you go to forgiveness, you release this energy from the cellular level within your body. Um,
Okay.
I've done,
Embrace to erase.
huh?
Embrace to erase. I said embrace to erase.
You
It's
do.
like, more resistance creates more resistance. That's one of my favorite sayings. Embrace to erase.
And what
Meet
happens,
where you're at.
yeah, and this is what causes birth defects from a soul incarnating and they have no arms or one leg or something's wrong with them. It's because of being abusive in a prior life where they abused somebody else. And then when they come into this life, they have this birth defect. Well, if you find these people with these birth defects, they're very happy people. They accept their conditions with a gracious heart, and they work even though they may not have any arms or legs. You see them surviving. Somehow they survive because they have this attitude that they can do it. And so what happens is this is what happens is the universe waits until the soul is in a carnation where it can accept the karmic debt and release it. Now, there's a quicker
That's what
way.
these tools are about. That's what these tools are about as well. I mean, this is a great discussion because this knowledge has not always been available in such a way that people can go, oh, oh, yeah. I just had to interject that.
That's okay. Now, I wasn't taught this till about a year ago, maybe about a year and a half ago. And my teachers would get me up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd come to my altar behind me, and I would say, I would do it like a healing prayer. I would think of someone, and I would just say a little prayer for them. And when I got through with the prayer, during the prayer, I'd have to do a sigh. I would have to go, and I didn't know, and it didn't happen all the time. The only time it would happen is when I would say a healing prayer for someone, whether it be a healing prayer to release energy from my home, or a healing prayer of one of my students was ill, or just a healing prayer. And I found out that I'm releasing this sigh. So I asked my teachers, why am I releasing this sigh? And they says, you're releasing the negative energies that are at your cellular level, that it's released as a gas when you forgive someone for something you've done previously. So what I started to do is when I go to bed at nighttime, I review my life. I look at everyone in my life, and I'll pick someone, whoever pops up in my mind, and I'll send them a prayer like forgiveness. Forgive me, Father, for my trespasses as I forgive those. or I surround this person in a circle of light. I'll do the prayer of protection for them, is what I do. And
Yes, yes.
in the prayer of protection for this person, I get to the end and I have to do this sigh. So I put that out there, um,
That's good.
for anyone listening who might think, oh, let me work with that. Let me try that. I do a lot of things when I'm laying in bed before I go to sleep.
Yeah, no, no, no. And right when you get up, I mean, uh, everything is it's a process, and I don't want to make it sound like it's a lifelong process and you never get there, because that's not really true. But it's a 365 24/7 commitment to your evolution is what it is. And then I know when I feel out of balance or too much one way or the other, so to speak, and I'm not on center. Um, yeah. So just that awareness keeps me in my heart and on center. I'm just paying attention from a different perspective.
No,
And that's a valuable tool for just about everybody. These tools are great, are fabulous. But honestly, Tim, we know that people have other ways of doing things that are quite effective because they are committed and they are paying attention. So this is not like we're saying this is the only way that you can achieve. No, but it is a way, and it's accessible, and you have people you can actually work with so that it's attainable in a short period of time. That's kind of what when I first met you a couple of years ago with using these tools. For instance, Tim, just yesterday, I was on one of my social media pages and noticed that one of them had been pirated by saying that there were spells and bring back my lover to me kind of thing, all these endorsements. And I'm like, I don't have any idea who these people are. I have no idea, nothing. And so then I went to block them and do all that. And then um, Facebook responded like in 30 seconds or a minute. So I know it's just the AI doing what they
right,
do.
right.
And so then I stopped and thought, Renata, that's just going to absolutely do no good at all. You're wasting your time. Just forget about that because you're not going to get any kind of action. But what I did do is like, well, interesting. Look how you're not getting super agitated. I mean, these things happen simply because this is the way that is with this kind of platform. When you've got like the integrity, like what are we talking about? That doesn't particularly exist just because it's a social media platform. So I was quite happy that I didn't get, but I thought, all right, but this is a little bit annoying, and I really don't want to like deal with this anymore. I did my phone prayer protection on my phone, everybody attached to it, the whole web that's attached to the endorsements. Instead of getting angry, I'm like, just send out that love. It's all good. I surround my phone with the circle of light and an armor of love in which nothing penetrates and nothing remains, or nothing remains like divine love. You can even say it not in the right sequence like that,
Right.
but I know the prayer, so I just like do that. And I felt an instant sort of, now that's the way to handle that.
Yep. A release.
Get it where it was at. So that prayer is good for. I did it just in the store. There was so many people today. I'm like, I just kind of going into a store. I'm pretty super sensitive, so just going to the store, whoever I'm with, I just say the prayer of protection. I say it so quickly, and then there we go.
You know,
It just is a good.
I was in upstate New York. Must have been about 2013. It was Thanksgiving. I went into one of those, let's say it was Walmart. And the people in this area were not an expensive area. A lot of people were shopping. They were buying the cheapest things they could find, what was on sale, and so forth and so forth. And my heart just went out to them. I just felt like, oh, these people are, it's sad to see people with their families. They got to buy the cheapest things and so forth. So I don't know what I would bought there. I bought something. And so I came home. And it was about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I thought, well, I'm going to have a glass of wine. And I says, yeah, I normally don't drink wine. but I'll have a glass of wine. And then I said, oh, let me go on the internet. And I went on the internet and started looking at websites I really shouldn't be looking at. And then it was 7 o'clock. It was time to meditate, and I didn't feel like meditating. And I sat in my chair, I lit my candle, and I said, loved ones, I just I don't feel like myself. What's wrong? They said, you have an attachment. I go, what? They said, you have an attachment.
Yeah.
I said, how? And then they showed me where I was and where I got the attachment. And I said, no way. So I said the prayer of protection. And immediately I was back into
Yeah.
myself again. Immediately I was
Yeah.
back into like, oh, I got myself back. But it was like you don't know when you pick up an attachment. And what they do is the attachment will, it's just a soul and it has an emotional level. When it attaches to you, it wants to experience an emotion. It lives on your feelings. So it wants you to do what it was doing when it was alive. And so it got my attention, and I said the prayer of protection. But I put this out there because people do not realize that these attachments are attached to you, and they make you do things that maybe you normally don't want to do, but you figured, oh, it's been a long time since I had a glass of wine. I'll have a glass of wine now. It's been a long time since I've done this, so I'll do that now.
Even Tim, even before the show in the store, I was wanting to, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, why don't you buy some wine? Or I'm like, I got wine at home, I'm good. Well, and it felt like this over, just go get fucked up. I'm like, who are you? Like, whatever. Like, you're good. No, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything like that at all. We're just fine. But then that's like, the recognition. Well, that's not even mine. I mean, I do that. Like that those I didn't have those thoughts before. These are not my thoughts. These are not my feelings. These do not
Exactly.
belong to me. I mean, that's the extrapolation of I mean, we haven't demonstrated the emotional parasite release, but we've talked about it enough. So people will go to the website and they'll see that. But even in that situation, like that is not mine. That does not belong to me. I release that in love. That attachment thing. So that's where I use that instantly because you can feel that. And it's just like the thoughts, you're good, whatever, harmonious, da da da. And all of a sudden there's an impending sort of nagging. That's my trigger, where I notice, oh, so putting that out there for people as well. Like that is not mine. These feelings do not belong to me. And you don't have to place your hands anywhere. Once you can just be walking around doing what you're doing, but you just like stop in your consciousness and go, oh, not mine. Sends you in love. There you go. Bye.
Amen. Exactly.
Amen. Yeah. It's
Exactly.
quick. It's not like it's proper. Just like the intention combined with the action. That's the important part now I'm getting. It's like, it's good to study, to do all of that. But if you're not able to use that learned wisdom and turn, that earned wisdom and turn it into learned integrated wisdom so your life is more harmonious, there's no point to knowing things. And then there needs to be the ripple out. What is that? That is the sharing of your light, sharing of your information, sharing of that consciousness. You need to share that. And so this way it's easier, I can feel more adept at sharing because I'm not worried about picking up stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. What's going on now?
What do we think? Well, let's see. Let's check our time because we agreed a while ago that we wanted to kind of be like that 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I
And
think
we're
we're there.
almost at 8 o'clock. So does that feel good for us to say goodbye?
I think that feels good for us to say goodbye. See you later.
Yeah, until later. And I'm aiming at doing things on Thursday evening. So when we are able to connect again, I would love to, I love our discussions. They're great. And they're recorded. We can do another demonstration. I love that you educate and then, um, we can
Yeah.
confirm that by just some more discussion about how to integrate that into your life because you do need to just use it. Once you know it, utilize it and share the information. Yeah.
Well, it's so simple because fears Fears hold a person back, and we'll talk about this the next time about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and how they work and why it's important to clear all these things out of your subconscious mind. So let's put that on the agenda for the next time.
I like that. And go ahead and text me that too, because I like that idea. I do.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Tim.
All
You
right,
have a
hon.
great week,
You too
and I'll see you
now.
again. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Visit us at www.thepathtowoneness.com. Join the membership program for all the latest teachings from the Golden Ones. Visit us on Facebook and LinkedIn at thepathtowoneness.com.